Hi, my name is Zachary Will. I'm an Atlanta-based wedding videographer, and I just wanted to go over a frequently asked question that I get, which is how many hours of coverage do I need? A lot of wedding videography and photography packages have, the package is based on how many hours of coverage that you need. And so, I think as a couple going straight into figuring out which vendor they want to go with, it's pretty difficult to know how many hours you'll need straight away. Most of these are going to go by even numbers: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 more hours. 2 hours of coverage is usually going to cover like courthouse weddings, maybe a ceremony only wedding or something of that nature, maybe a very quick elopement. And then the next step up would be around 4 hours of coverage, and that's probably going to cover a micro wedding or something kind of smaller, maybe an elopement or something like that. 6 and 8 hours of coverage are usually the typical amount of hours of coverage for the standard wedding. 6 hours is usually a little bit smaller wedding, 8 hours a little bit bigger. 8 hours of coverage allows you to get footage of things like first looks and bridal party before the wedding and things like that, and maybe even some family portraits before the wedding starts. So you have a little bit more time during cocktail hour to just kind of relax. 6 hours of coverage is usually pretty easy to do, especially if you have a smaller bridal party. Everything's taking place in one location. Is usually more of like a 6 hour. If you have multiple locations, probably recommend going towards the 8 to 10 hour of coverage spot. 10 hours is typically only if you have multiple locations, and I wouldn't say it's very standard to have 10 hours of coverage. 12 hours of coverage or more is typically only for Southeast Asian or Indian weddings where there's multiple different ceremonies, and there's different locations, multiple different ceremonies, and probably over 200 guests for those types of weddings. Another thing to keep in mind when you are deciding on how many hours of coverage that you want is kind of what type of films do you want. For wedding videography, if you're looking at the highlight film, I think it's really important to make sure that you have the same amount of hours of coverage for your photographer and your videographer, because there's a lot of pre-ceremony events that are really important to get for that highlight film that you'll see on everybody's websites. And so if you're looking for a cool wedding video highlight, I would highly suggest making sure you have the same hours of coverage for photographer and videographer. Now, if you're only interested in, say the ceremony at the full length, the dances, and all of those important reception events, you could possibly go a little lower on hours of coverage. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you understand how many hours of coverage you need for your wedding videographer and photographer. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in wedding videography in the Atlanta area, feel free to stop by zacharywill.com/weddings.